Hello and welcome to Knitting on the Float. My name is Tracy and I'm your host, and I am coming to you from not my usual location. This is not the float house, and Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Canada anymore. We are somewhere else, hours and hours away, and I'm still working on jet lag. I will tell you, the weather outside currently is beautiful, although I think it might rain a little bit later on today. I'm excited to share a little bit more about my location on this week's podcast, and I think I'm going to jumble things up just a little bit, and we'll move some finished objects around, we'll put some bits and bobs in some other places because everything is all sort of jumbled up right now. I'm dealing with jet lag, and this week's podcast is going to look a little bit different, but there is still going to be knitting. I have some brown paper packages, and I have a finished object to share with you, as well as a snippet from back on the float house where I have an amazing finished object to share with you. So bear with me with a few little changes dealing with jet lag. We will get through this week's podcast, but it might look a little bit different because, as I said, I want to share where I am, and I don't want to share that right at the end. So I'm going to move bits and bobs up a little bit. But before I do that, let me tell you where you can find me. I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am at Knitting on the Float on Instagram. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. This may not be the first podcast you want to sit down and watch because it's going to be a little bit different than previous ones. I am currently on a holiday with my mother, and we are having a fabulous time, but my podcast is going to look a little bit different. I hope you enjoy it, but you may want to check out another previous podcast if you want to see more of what a normal one looks like. But welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, I'm so excited to share where we are this week. And I'll be here next week as well, although I'm not sure whether I will podcast. But we are in a mystery location. We are in an Airbnb, which is a beautiful space. And I'm excited to share a little bit. Now, this week is a little bit disjointed. I do have some video. It's not going to flow as nicely as I would like, but I am super excited to share lots with you. And again, we've got finished objects. This is definitely not the comfy couch. It is a couch. I am welcoming you to grab a seat wherever you can in the Airbnb, and you've got your project of choice. You have your requisite cup of whatever, and oh goodness, I'm excited to share this mug with you. And you are ready to A, find out where I am that is not in Canada, and B, you are ready to just take some time for yourself and do some relaxation crafting. So let's get to it with some tea time. And today I have the Airbnb mug that has a chip out of it. And I am drinking some Yorkshire Blend biscuit tea because you can never go wrong with Yorkshire Blend biscuit tea. And it smells good as usual, and it is perfect for today. So I think today we are going to cheer to adventures, and we're going to go on a bit of an adventure today as well. So, especially with a bit of a change of format. So, cheers to adventures. This week, because I want to share our location, I'm going to start off with bits and bobs, and I am going to share with you where we are. So I've got some little snippets, as I mentioned in the introduction. It's not as curated as I would like, but it will share the location, and it's going to share some gorgeous sights that I've seen, and I think I was like a kid in a candy store on the other night when I was seeing some of these beautiful little bits of scenery. So let's get to that footage, and I'm going to put that right here. Leg one of my journey. It is super early in the morning. We are in Vancouver and I just saw the neatest thing in the airport. So we're going to show you what that is. It's just over my shoulder. But I'm going to go on the walking escalator and show you what that is. Actually, it might just be easier to walk it. So there is a collection of Disney figurines. So we're at the Donald Duck right now. I'm actually going backwards, back towards security. So these are all of the different Donald Ducks. I feel like I'm in Orlando, not Vancouver. Lots and lots of Donald Ducks and just figures between 1934 and 2012. And now we are in the Goofy collection. I gotta say, this is a Goofy collection to have in this airport. So, and then we've got Pluto. More Pluto. There's a lot of Pluto. As I mentioned, there's a lot of Pluto. And then these are from 1930 to 2012. I don't know what happened after 2012. They stopped making Pluto. And then we have Mickey Mouse. All the different Mickey Mouse figurines, and there are lots of these cabinets. So as I mentioned, I'm going backwards from whence I came. But kind of a fun little thing to do as I wait. I got through security okay. I arrived at the airport just after 4 a.m. So we're getting close to 5 now, I guess. More Mickey Mouse. You know what? I don't see any minis. Lots of Mickeys though. Don't you feel like this should be Orlando Airport? MCO. And here is the first Mickey cabinet. And Mickey Mouse from 1928 to 2012. So, 25 years ago, I started buying Disney figurines at garage sales and antique and collectible stores, and it turned into a great hobby. From the collection of Ken Stevens, New Westminster, BC. And it goes all the way down there. But we're going to take the fast way back. Let's go to the moving sidewalk and towards gate C49, my destination.
I'd love you to sing with me if you know this.
Maybe I'd be happy to let it all go. Dedicate my
Hello, I have arrived at my destination. I'm currently sitting on a train. Any guesses where I am? We're going to go into our destination and it's not going to take you very long to figure out where I am. Before I do that, I'm going to introduce my mom. And my mom is sitting over here. This is Judy.
Hello, how are you today? Hope you're enjoying your knitting and other things that you do.
Craft inclusive, could be in crocheting, whatever. Anyway, we are going for a nice adventure today, and I'm excited to share where we are. And you might have some guesses now. You'll know shortly. Behind this building is a hint of where we are, plus the flag on that building. But do you see? Take a look. We're coming into a rail station, and you will soon see and be absolutely sure of where we are, although I think you're pretty sure now where we want to be. And here is a huge hint of where we are.
Well, there's an even bigger hint.
Here's an even bigger hint. Welcome to London Waterloo. So our destination is London, England. Welcome to London. And today we don't know what we're gonna do, but the world is our oyster. I have right here in my hand my oyster card. World is our oyster. Although right now I'm using just a rail ticket. And I don't know what we're gonna get up to today, but we'll get up to something fun. We are at our destination, and it's Buckingham Palace in London. Right now, the King is there. The Royal Standard is flying, so the King is here to greet us because...
Did you get the standard in that picture?
Yeah, it's in the video. Well, it's in the video somewhere. Yeah, that's right there. Anyway, so yeah, the King is here to greet us. Right now there's a motorcade coming in, and let me show this. This is, I believe, a dignitary is arriving. So here's the police motorcade about to start. And here is Buckingham Palace. The standard is flying up at the top there, so that means that the King is currently on site. Kind of strange to say the King instead of the Queen. And zoom out. Here comes some more motorcycles. They've closed this whole area off so that people can go straight in the gates. So front row to this view. We are in a red double-decker bus. We just left the Victoria station area and we are going towards Trafalgar Square, and I want to see the exciting London Christmas lights. It's a bit bouncy, but the London Eye is in front of us. We are coming up on Westminster Abbey as well, and I see the clock tower with Big Ben, and the Houses of Parliament will be just around the corner too. Big Ben is the bell inside.
Didn't they give it another name?
Oh, I think they did. I think they renamed it the Elizabeth Bell. So we are just at twilight. It is, you said it was just past 4:30 p.m. and the clock there tells us it is about 4:40. So just starting to get dark. And we are in the heart of Westminster. Here is Westminster Abbey. And coming around the corner. It's so pretty, especially at this time of the day. The lights are all just coming on. I hear bells. Here we are, and a sharp turn, and we are going to go by the Prime Minister's house, just down here. We are just coming up on Trafalgar Square right now, and all of the lights are starting to come on for the theater and for Christmas. And I think Canada House is just around here somewhere too. It's not too far from here. And that's the gallery over there, the art gallery, I believe. It's on the other side. The sights and sounds of London. Lots of buses, sirens in the distance. An underground sign on the other side of that bus. Buckingham Palace is straight down that way. So that's where we remember all those flags? That's Buckingham Palace is straight down there. This is the Pall Mall right down here.
Look at the big sky.
Yeah. You get off. Oh my gosh, look ahead. So pretty. Here are the Christmas lights, and I'm so excited to see these. In the age of cell phone technology, does anybody actually use these anymore? They are so iconic and beautiful. We are going to go for a walk and see the lights. We're just at Charing Cross Station right now, and around the corner I see some of those Christmas lights of London, and I'm so excited to explore around Trafalgar Square and Covent Gardens and all these lovely places. So excited. Here we are in the Covent Garden Market, and oh, look at the mistletoe that's hanging from the top of the hall. So we're gonna go through for a little walk through here, but I just wanted to share this with you. It's all cobblestone here. I definitely do not want to trip. But look, a Christmas tree. It is the season. The disco balls are in full swing and making it look very, very magical in here. There's a sleigh and they're doing pictures with children. It's all decorated up, but oh, almost like snow. Better than snow though. We are still in Covent Garden, and at the very end of this section here is the London Transport Museum, and that was Nathaniel's favorite place to go. But it is beautiful, bright, all the lights, so much fun. It's a good thing my mom is wearing a yellow jacket too, because I will lose her otherwise. Anyway, way in the back, that's Nathaniel's favorite place in London, and the London Transport Museum is a shop and museum is right at the end in Covent Garden. Here we are. We could go and watch Matilda. We're not going to, but look at these sparkly snowflake lights still in the Covent Garden area. And this was Nathaniel's favorite musical when we were here before, and it's just so beautiful right in this circle area. Down every alleyway there are beautiful lights sparkling overhead. This is Christmas done right. We're going to walk down this way, and this is towards the theater where Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is playing. And it was about to open the last time I was here, and the theater just looked impressive. So I'm excited to share that with my mom. And across the street here is the theater where Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is playing. We are hoping to go see that. And when I was here in 2016, they were just getting all those last touches done on the show before opening. But I just think the theater is absolutely beautiful, and
What's the plan from now to then?
especially when it's lit up at nighttime. Here we are at Piccadilly Circus, and all of the lights across the streets have me completely captivated. But I'm looking forward to walking down one of these streets and taking a better look. And there are lights as far as the eye can see. I have to be so careful not to step out into the traffic. But look how beautiful these lights look. We're right at Piccadilly Circus, and these ones sparkle around the corner. There's that famous London Underground sign. I am so excited to explore this area. We are just walking down Regent Street, and these angels are sparkling, and I am so amazed by this. And of course there's the double-decker buses, and I think my eyes, if you could see them, I just feel like a kid at Christmas, and I guess that's what this is like. So
We've walked 3.8 miles.
we've walked 3.8 miles today so that I could see this amazing display of Christmas lights. Just going to go down Carnaby and see the lights down this way. We just went into Hambley's. Oh my goodness. Hambley's toy store is crazy at the best of times. Don't run into the pole. Too busy looking at the lights, ready to run into poles. It's hard not to walk and not bang into things because everything's you just want to look up and see everything. It's so beautiful. And I love these little sparkly balls in the middle. Okay, crafters, do you know where we are? Here's a little hint, and I am so excited to see all of the Christmas things at Liberty. And I'm excited to go around the corner and see the front facade of the store. And here we are, the front entrance of Liberty. And you know what? We definitely have to go inside. Haberdashery and Christmas section, here we come. So this is the second floor, third floor, all the way up. Here we are in the exciting section, the haberdashery. We are now in the Christmas section. It's all very sparkly and pretty. So beautiful in here. It's nice to see the angels from up on high. As we go down. All sparkly. So we've had a day, 7:47 p.m. So what did you think of your day in London?
Exhausting.
Exhausting, yes, definitely exhausting, but so much fun. I really enjoyed our day, and seeing all of the sparkling lights, especially once the sun went down, is overwhelming, and I'm just looking at them now. They're so pretty. There is the London Eye, and we were able to see the Tower Bridge right behind, and just seeing more reflection than anything, but we're just coming up on Waterloo Station, and London at night. It's Wednesday, November, I have no idea which number, and we are in Harrods, and Merry Christmas from Harrods, all written in red. We are just in the food hall where there is tea and crisps and coffee and baked goods, and my mother keeps saying this is an experience. It definitely is. We're not going to be here for long, but just a quick peek around. Here we are just outside of Harrods, and it is all lit up, even though it is about 1:30 in the afternoon, and very, very sparkly and bright. So everybody, welcome to England, and we are just staying actually in the outskirts of London. It is a bit of a travel to get into the city, but we are staying in a beautiful Airbnb near Windsor, and we have been really enjoying ourselves. So we've been into London a couple of times. We had high tea yesterday, and we're going to be going to see a show tomorrow. We're going to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. When I was here with Greg and Nathaniel in 2016, they were just about to open the show, and I was so excited. I think it's the Palace Theatre. I think I called it something else because I was a little bit confused as I was filming, and I don't necessarily know all of my locations, so I think it's the Palace Theatre is where Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is playing, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, we are going to see that tomorrow. We're also going to see Frozen next week, and I'm going to be visiting with some relatives. We're going to be doing some sightseeing, so lots going on in London, and I will bring the camera sometimes over the next week, but I don't think I'm going to be capturing everything because I definitely want to make sure I'm enjoying my holiday and my time with my mom. So that for bits and bobs, we are in England. And is there really much else to share than that? I don't think so. So we're going to move from bits and bobs, and we're going to go back into our regular routine. Now I do have some brown paper packages as well, which might include a lovely little share. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but let's move into my favorite things. When I left Vancouver, I brought a few projects with me, and I've worked on a couple of them, but there's also been another project that has jumped into the queue as well and is now a finished object. So I'll try and work a little bit chronologically. So when I got on the plane from Vancouver to Toronto, I needed something to work on that wasn't too challenging, but would be kind of fun to start, and I picked up this lovely bag that Christine and Sam made for me, and I brought some familiar yarns and a very familiar project that I wanted to cast on, and these are Viola, these are silk cashmere, and let's see if I can get the names right. This is Ghost. This is going to be my color A. This is Dewdrop. I believe I'm using this for color B. And this is Sea Storm, color C. And I am making another oddments cowl, which I had said I had wanted to do while we were still in Toronto. So I have done the cast on, and the ribbing is now in Ghost. And where my original oddments, I used Sea Storm for my ribbing, and then my B was the Dewdrop, and then C was Ghost. I obviously don't have a whole lot of this left, so I'm using these other two to make sure that I get the ribbing sections done. So I thought it'd be nice with Ghost as the ribbing. And you know what? If I start to run out, I can always do the other side of the ribbing in here, but I think I'll have just enough yarn to do a second oddments cowl. And so far it is coming along well. And this was what I knit on the airplane from Vancouver to Toronto. Then I did a little bit of work in Toronto, and then I worked a little bit on the airplane from Toronto to London. So not a whole lot, but a little bit. And I have one of the lovely Corner of Craft Progress Keepers as my beginning of round marker. So this popped in my bag last minute, and I'm glad I've brought it. It's really nice to work on. So that is living in my lovely clothes hanger, clothesline bag that I mentioned that Sam and Chris made for me. So Sam did the embroidery and then Chris made the bag. So such a lovely bag that was made by friends. So that is a project that I wasn't expecting to bring with me, and then the night before I left I grabbed, and very, very glad. And then I had another surprise project jump on the needles. When we arrived at our Airbnb, there weren't any face cloths, and my mom really likes face cloths. And I may have gone to a yarn store in the Toronto area. I may have gone to 2 yarn stores, and I do have a second. I have another thing that I just remembered that I have to share on brown paper packages. Oh, jet lag. So I went to I have to look it up again. Artisan, it's in Whitby, and it's a yarn store, and I always trip over the name. And they sell Katona yarn, and it is called Artisanotherapy. Artisanotherapy, and it is a yarn store in Whitby. And I bought some Katona, and what do you make when you get Katona? You make the wonderful Wondrous Dishcloths, which is a pattern by Jules Hill. And I made this for my mom, but then the Airbnb host dropped off some face cloths. So this is now my very own dishcloth. And there are some mistakes in it, in that I forgot to do the little pickup in a few spots, but that's okay. It's just for me, and it is in this lovely lime green. So I may have bought some yarn, but I knit with it straight away, which was great. So that is a finished object, a started object, and I have 2 more projects that I'm going to share with you. One of them, I'm just going to share the yarn because it is a special test knit. And the other one, I have video from Vancouver that I'm going to share with you. So let's start off with this test knit. This will be hopefully released very, very soon. It is a very special test knit, and I am using gorgeous Viola yarn. So this is Light Fireside, and I am using 2 other colors to highlight. This one here is Evergreen, and it is getting smaller. This was a 20-gram mini. And then this is Bright Mustard, and oh my gosh, it is beautiful. So I've only used a tiny bit of this one so far, a little bit more of this, and then I'm now currently working on the main part in Light Fireside. The project is off to my left because I just did a little bit of work on it, and I've got it somewhat attached to my bag. But this was a gorgeous bag from Studio Britta, and I love that it is personalized and says Tracy's Test Knits. So something very special, and I'm hoping to get a really good chunk done today. We're just having a quiet day today. We've been to London a couple of days and lots of busy. Today's just going to be a nice quiet day. Once I get the podcast edited, I am really hoping to get at least to the halfway point on this project. And then the final project is today's release of the final knit vent window. So window 6 has been released, and it is the Forage shawl. So I am going to go back in time, back over the rainbow, back to Canada, and I'm going to share with you the Forage shawl right here. Hi, and with the magic of editing, we are back on the float house, and I am about to share with you the Forage shawl, which is the 6th release from KnitVent 2022. So if you have been enjoying this collection, this is the final piece of the collection, and I hope that you have loved every single design that has come out. For my Forage shawl, I used 11 colors. So Helen used 7 in her sample. And for my colors, I have some gorgeous yarns that were sent to me by Helen. And these originally had been used in the Anthology Throw test knit. So these colors are familiar, and maybe you can sort of figure out which ones are where they are in the sample photographs from the Anthology Throw. But I have used what I like to call the rosies. So I started off with these sort of yellowy greens into the light pinks, and then into the rosies, and then into the purples. Always something has to be dropped on the float house. Anyway, so these are the colors that I used, and I've just got them in a box for now, and I love how they have knit up together. So Helen has used a few of her colors doubled. I decided that I wanted to use each section, I wanted to do it with a different colorway. So I have used 11 different colorways. I would have loved to have gone on to 12 or 13. However, with a 20 gram mini, I was cutting it close with that last colorway. So if you've got a really big skein of yarn for that last set of colors that you want to use, then you could probably make it as big as you want. It's a very easy pattern to adapt and change, but if you're using 20 gram minis, you might be cutting it a little bit close. The Forage shawl is a very, very simple knit. As I said, it's very easy to adapt and change. So I started off using sort of the rosy with bits of yellow and green in it, into this lovely sort of greeny yellow, into the pinks and peaches and all these rosy colors, to this bright red, and then into plums and purples and soft mauves. So all together, here is my Forage shawl. And it's a lovely asymmetrical triangular shawl. I very much enjoyed knitting this pattern, and let's stand up. So, you know, it does, if you're just wearing it to warm your shoulders, it fits nicely. You can also wrap it around your neck and maybe wear it in, like, under a coat. I did think about bringing this on holiday with me, but I decided to bring some other things instead with me. So this one, unfortunately, I thought it was better to leave it at home and keep it pristine. But this is my gorgeous Forage shawl, and I absolutely am thrilled, not only with how it's turned out, and by the way, it smells divine, but I love the fact that I was able to use the yarns that Helen had sent me that had been used in the anthology. So sort of bringing it around, and of course, not everyone will be able to find these yarns in the same, because they're all different yarns from skeins that Helen had in her stash. But I really just love how the 11 have knit up together, especially the way it's started off with the yellows. And oh, have I mentioned I'm absolutely thrilled with this project. Anyway, this is the Forage shawl, not Forage, Forage shawl and the final pattern from Knit Event 2022. I hope that you really enjoyed knitting this collection this year. I absolutely enjoyed it so much, and this is my 7th year doing test knitting of Knit Event. Last year I wasn't as successful because we were in the middle of a move, but this year I got them all done by the deadlines, and I'm just so thrilled with how each of them has turned out. So if you are knitting one or all of them, I wish you much joy as you knit each stitch. And we are now a few days closer to Knitevent 2023. If you can believe it. I know, we don't want to think that far ahead. We've still got to, enjoy knitting this year's collection because it is absolutely gorgeous. I hope that you absolutely loved this week's release, and I hope that you really loved all of the Knitevent windows. This year's collection was just so wonderful, and Helen did such a fabulous job designing this year's collection. I love all of them, and I'm so happy that I've been able to share each of the works with you. And I mean, I liked it so much, I'm already working on a second oddments cowl from the collection. So that is my favorite things for the week, but I do have some brown paper packages to share with you right now. This week, it's kind of funny to say that most of what I'm going to share with you is from Toronto, although I do have a nice little treat, which sort of crafting related, but not fully, but I'm going to share it with you anyway because it's from Liberty. So when I was in the Toronto area, I went to 2 knitting shops. As I mentioned, I went to that store that I can't pronounce. Artisanotherapy, I think that's what it is. And I did buy some Katona yarn. So I bought this gorgeous lime green where you've already seen a finished object from that. And I have enough that I should probably be able to make a second one, although I used a bigger needle than I normally do. So this one might be a little bit smaller. And I also bought these 2 colors of Katona as well. I just think they are so beautiful together. So a little bit of Katona yarn to make some wondrous dishcloths. And I wish I had bought the purple, but I didn't. These ones are gorgeous though. So the next thing that I'm going to share with you, I picked up at the Knitting Loft in Toronto, and I had seen it online and was enabled. So I ordered it from Vancouver, and then as soon as I flew into Toronto, we stopped at the Knitting Loft, which is very close to the airport, and I picked up this lovely little gadget. And this is the Lumos Light, and it goes around your neck, and it has several different light settings. So it just sits on your neck, and then you can work away. It's very flexible, bends nicely, and you can work away on your project if you're in a dimly lit area. And my eyesight isn't quite as good as it used to be, so I thought this would be really great, especially on the plane if I wasn't able to sleep and I wanted to work on the knitting and I didn't want to disturb the people around me. And sometimes at home it is a little bit dark. Here it's been quite light. There's good light here, so I haven't had to use it too much, but perhaps if I was sitting in the bedroom knitting, it would be very helpful. But anyway, it charges with a USB, just right there. And I thought it would be a good purchase to make. So I did pick that up, and I've used it a few times actually. So I almost forgot that I had it with me when I was setting up for today's podcast. So folds up nicely, comes with a USB charger as well. And this is the Lumos Light, and definitely a good purchase, I think. So from Canada, some Katona, some light, I'm all set to knit. And you would think that I would have gone to Loop already in London, but I haven't gone yet. I do have something in mind, though I'm not sure whether I will get it. I do have a lot of yarn at home, so not sure whether I will be purchasing any yarns while I'm here. While I was at Liberty, my mother bought me a couple of lovely little things. So here is my Liberty bag. It's even sealed still, and I'm going to break that seal for you because I'm so excited to share what I have in here. If you have tuned in before, you know that our frequent visitors to the float house are swans. So while we were in Liberty, I saw this beautiful little swan Christmas ornament. And it's just a lovely little felt ornament, and my mom picked this up for me. So there is my lovely dancer. Has come to London with me. I did not get a prancer, I just got the one, and that's enough. But so cute. And yesterday when I was in Hyde Park, I saw a swan. It didn't dance for me. It didn't want any popcorn. You're not allowed to feed them anyway, so I did not. Anyway, that is one of my lovely little treats from Liberty. And then the other one I've had my eye on for a while, and my mother bought this for me. And it is a lovely pin cushion that is made with Liberty fabric, and the fabric is of the Liberty building, which is gorgeous, and it has these little bees appliqued onto the pin cushion. So very, very cute, and I will really love using that at home. So that is my brown paper packages, where I'm hoping not to buy too much while I'm here. I am thinking I might go back to Liberty. I'm more likely to buy fabric than I am yarn on this trip, I think. But I don't want to be getting too much, even though, yes, I am in England. I don't need a whole lot, but I did really want this. And who can resist a beautiful swan? Thank you so much for joining me on Knitting on the Float, off of the float this week. I hope that you've had a chance to relax and work on your project of choice. Well, I have shared where we are, shared some finished objects, shared some works in progress, as much as I can share of those, as well as some lovely little treats that I have. My couch is looking definitely a little bit different, and my setup's a little different than I'm used to, and you're used to as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this podcast, even though it was all a little bit jumbled up. I am hoping that in the next few days, the jet lag goes away. It's been a bit of a challenge because I did have the Vancouver to Toronto, 3 days in Toronto, and then on Saturday night to Sunday morning, we flew from Toronto to London. It's now Thursday, so we're starting to get a little bit more acclimatized. We have another little more than a week left here, and we're hoping to see some shows and do some other lovely things in London. I think I may need to go back and visit Liberty, though I definitely need to make sure I control myself. I am wishing you a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And I hope that you have enjoyed this week's podcast, even though, as I said, it is a bit jumbled and out of sorts, because sometimes with jet lag, things get messed up. Anyway, I am wishing you a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. I'm not sure when. I'm still debating Vlogmas. I'm on holiday too, so I might sort of get little bits and snippets and things like that here and there, but I don't think I'm going to do, at least for the first bit of December, a daily vlog, but I might put together something maybe similar to what I did in Vlogtober. We will see. Everything is all about playing it by ear, dealing with the jet lag, all of that stuff, but I will see you soon, and cheerio. I am not the only one that is knitting in the Airbnb. My mother has been knitting up a storm and she is back into knitting stockings. So I'm going to show her finished object, and she's just started another one. She has been working on a Christmas stocking for one of her friends, and that is her finished object. She's just started another one, and it's green and white, but she is a knitter extraordinaire as far as I am concerned, because color work, talk about, you know, I knit on a float house, she knits the floats. And they're pretty good.